Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog podcast. Today is Wednesday, March 7th, 2018. Today I'm going to continue previewing all the college basketball conference tournaments in which the winner of the tournament gets an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. In most non-major conferences, you have to win your conference tournament unless you have a very strong resume. This podcast, I'll preview the Pac-12 tournament, which is going to get underway in a few moments. This is one of those tournaments where you don't necessarily have to win the auto bid to get in the tournament unless your resume is weak. The conference tournament is being held at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. For what it's worth, this bracket does not do reseeding. There are 12 teams in this conference, and the first round is today. The quarterfinals are tomorrow, the semifinals are Friday, and the championship game is Saturday. Before I get to my predictions, my picks for the first round will count towards my Maddie's picks, towards the podcast, but not my projected picks for the quarterfinals, semifinals, and championship games. The actual quarterfinals, semifinals, and championship games that play out, I'll pick those games towards Maddie's picks on the podcast the day those games are being played, just in case I get one of the first round picks wrong. And if I get my first round picks right, I'll carry over my projected quarterfinals picks on tomorrow's podcast, the semifinals on Friday morning's podcast, and I'll pick the championship game on Saturday morning's podcast. To the picks. Going to get underway in a few moments. Number 9 seed Arizona State against number 8 seed Colorado. Arizona State 20-10 on the year, 8-10 outside the conference. Colorado 16-14 on the year, 8-10 in conference play. The Sun Devils need this game to insert themselves a lock for the tournament, and I'm going to say they get the job done here. So the pick is Arizona State. 12 seed California against 5 seed Stanford. Cal 8-23 on the year, 2-16 in conference play. Stanford 17-14 on the year, 11-7 in conference play. The Cardinal can use a few wins, and maybe they'll sneak into the field. We shall see. If the Cardinal make the final, maybe they'll sneak in. But I'm going to say they at least win this game, so give me Stanford. 10 seed Oregon State against 7 seed Washington. Oregon State 15-15, 7-11 out of conference. Washington 20-10 on the year, 10-8 outside of the conference, or in conference 10-8. The Huskies need to win this game and possibly another one if they want to get an at-large bid, and I'm going to say they win this one. Their resume is very strong. They have a win over Kansas. They did lose to Gonzaga, so that's a quad 1 loss. The quads are the thing that the committee has with where they rank certain teams according to the RPI. But yeah, I'm going to say Washington wins this game over Oregon State. And then you have Washington State, the 11 seed against 6 seed Oregon. Washington State 12-18 on the year, 4-14 in conference play. Oregon 20-11 on the year, 10-8 in conference play. This should be an easy win for the Ducks, who need to steal field games if they want to take an at-large bid. So the pick here is Oregon. Quarterfinals, Arizona State against 1 seed Arizona. Arizona's 24-7 on the year, 14-4 in conference play. This is a fun in-state rivalry, and the Wildcats are just a better team here, led by DeAndre Ayton and Alonzo Trier. Granted, there have been a lot of turmoil with that program lately, and they're going to put it behind them at least for now. So give me Arizona. Stanford against number 4 seed UCLA. UCLA 20-10 on the year, 11-7 in conference play. This should be considered an elimination game in which the winner goes to the big dance and the loser heads to the NIT. I'm going to say the Bruins, led by Aaron Holiday, move on to the semis. So the pick is UCLA. 7 seed Washington against 2 seed USC. USC 21-10 on the year, 12-6 in conference play. I wouldn't consider this an elimination game because I believe both of these teams are in the field, although you can make a case it is an elimination game. The Huskies arguably have a better resume than the Trojans from a non-conference standpoint. I did just mention that Washington owns a win over Kansas, and one of their losses is to a very good Gonzaga team. But give me the Trojans in a super close one. And I say both of these teams end up making it in if the Trojans, especially if the Trojans win. Because if the Trojans lose this game, I think they're in a little bit of trouble. So give me USC here. Number 6, Oregon against number 3, Utah. Utah 19-10 on the year, 11-7 in conference play. Fascinating matchup between two bubble teams. The winner of this game has a good chance to sneak in as an at-large. And I'm going to say it's the Utes, who've been quietly playing great basketball, and they've knocked off some quality teams in the process. So give me Utah. Semifinals, 4 seed UCLA against 1 seed Arizona. This should be a fun matchup between these two rivals. UCLA beat Arizona earlier in the year, by the way. A ton of talent on both teams, but I'm going to say the Wildcats get revenge here. They have the best two players on the court in Ayton and Trier, and they'll advance to the finals. So give me Arizona. 3 seed Utah against 2 seed USC. If the Utes win this game, they certainly be in the field. The Trojans are the more talented team, and I think they get the win here as the Utes will possibly be sweating it out on Selection Sunday. So the pick is USC. Championship game, 2 seed USC against 1 seed Arizona. Saturday night, 10 o'clock on FS1. This should be a fun championship game between two talented teams. The Wildcats are just the better team here, and they'll get the auto bid as the Trojans will settle for an at-large bid. And if Arizona were to win this tournament, which I have them doing, they might climb as high as a 2 seed if things go wrong for, say, Duke and Kansas in their conference tournaments. If those two teams were to lose early, or like a Nova Xavier would lose early in the Big East tournament, Arizona could be as high as a 2, but I'm going to say they end up as a 3, and USC making it to the Pac-12 championship end up on the 9 line. So give me Arizona. All right, I'll be back in a few moments with Atlantic 10, Big East, Big 12, Southland, and CUSA conference tournament preview.